Hello, hello, sweet friends. Oh my goodness, that's bright. Hang tight. We're gonna turn down the lighting here. We should say turn up the lights, but we're turning it down. I want to get you off of that really bright light in your eyes. Welcome, welcome to Saturday. I don't usually go live on Saturday, but it is an exciting day today. We have this amazing 19 presenters going live today, all with the theme caroling around, meaning our favorite Christmas carols. So that's what we're up to today. I'm just going to check that the feed is working. We're going to get right into it. It looks like many of us, so I've been hanging out with everybody this morning as they're doing their projects, and it looks like we're all using music sheets, which makes total sense. I'm hoping what I give to you today is a little different from what you've been seeing so that you are inspired. I mean, the whole idea of this is that you have 19 presenters sharing ideas with you. And if you just take a little bit from each one or copy one of us completely from start to finish, whatever you decide, we are here to inspire you in your creativity. Thank you, Miss Nicole. I appreciate that. So I can see that the live is working. Yay. I am live on both YouTube and Facebook. And let me say, for the event, Nicole is hosting it from Adorea Creations, and Nicole is one of the members. She was a member in my craft therapy club for quite a few years, at least a couple of years for the longest time, and decided to go ahead and create a group, not only a group, which you can go into today to see all of the presenters, but her own Facebook page. And she's just so talented and so good at what she does. And she's really good at organizing people, I'm learning. So, way to go, Miss Nicole. You're going to find all of today's presenters. Instead of having a page hop, you can either go into the Crafty Bunch, which is a free group, or you can go into Nicole's group, Adorea Creations Crafting Community. Either one of those are free groups that you can go into and just keep refreshing your screen. So to give, especially, to give Nicole some props, at the very least, head on over to her free group, Adorea Creations Crafting Community, and join her group so you can follow along with all that. She does these events. Like I said to her when she started, I'm like, girl, you have so many events scheduled. She's like, I know, I'm crazy, and I love it. She's so good at it. So it makes perfect sense that she's doing it. Oh, you are. You're so good. You are so good, Nicole. My sweet friend. Okay, Tracy's Crafty Creations is here. Thanks for sprinkling. I do appreciate you got your props up on the screen. Hello, Miss Julie. Junk to Joyful. I really enjoyed hanging out with you, and I felt bad. I had to leave you early because I had to get my own stuff up and running. Good morning to the Vintage Pebble, another one of today's fabulous presenters. Look at all these ladies just pouring right in. Thanks for being here. All right, let me get you going and show you what I have. I found the neatest thing. Okay, I'm going to get this screen bigger so you can see. I'm going to show you what I found. So one last look. If you want a screenshot, these are all the presenters, and these are the groups. The two free groups that you can go to catch all 19 presenters either today, or if you're catching me after the fact, you can still go into that group and find all the presenters. You can, just scroll through the wall and see all the presenters and get inspired. Now, okay, Nicole, she asked us what our favorite, to base it on our favorite Christmas carol. And I struggled with this because, all right, wait, we need to make some eye contact again. I struggled with this because, and yesterday I asked Alexa, Miss Alexa, to run classic Christmas tunes because I haven't listened to Christmas music in a year. And I thought, what is my favorite song? I have a favorite time period of songs, and it's the 40s and 50s because that's the music that I grew up with. I grew up in the 70s, and I was born in the 70s, grew up 70s and 80s, but when we were decorating our Christmas tree, my mom and dad, who were born in 1927 and 1934, they played 40s and 50s Christmas music. So the classics, Dean Martin and Bing Crosby and the Rat Pack kind of thing, Frank Sinatra and all the things. So I was looking at White Christmas because that had come on my Alexa. It had come on. So I was looking it up and I found this amazing website. I'm going to share a few of these pages with you because this was the inspiration for what I'm doing today. Hey, Debbie, how are you? Good morning. We make it pretty. Welcome. There's Jerry. Hello. You guys, if you can do us a favor, please, and share this out to the world so we can try to find more people to inspire with Christmas carols. Just to get ready for the holidays. I would appreciate it. I do. I appreciate it so much. Okay, let me get you big on the screen again so you can see what I'm doing. Poured the coffee. Thank you for that, Jerry. That's a fun way to say it. So I looked up A Christmas Carol, or excuse me, White Christmas, the song White Christmas. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. You know that song? I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. So beautiful. And this website came up. Okay. It's a christmasclassic.org, and it's all about the man, Irving Berlin, who wrote that song, and a little bit of history of Christmas in America before the 1940s. There are some amazing images. If you do a little research online, from a historical perspective, I really like colonial America. I really love primitive um, crafting. I really love the history of America, especially. Um, but there are some amazing print, like images, and a little bit of history here, like as far back as the Puritans. And so what I wanted to share with you, what I found really, really great. Okay, between the 1830s and 1850s, 14 states made Christmas an official holiday. I've never thought about that. I never thought about it. When did Christmas become official? Um, in the wake of the Civil War, the desire for national unity and for unifying traditions grew even stronger. Charles Dickens toured the U.S. in 1867 and delivered dramatic readings of A Christmas Carol that was written in 1842. The novella hardly mentioned Christianity, but its message of generosity, redemption, and goodwill resonated widely as a nation recovered from the war. In 1870, Congress finally declared Christmas a federal holiday. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Okay, you guys, you can go read up on this. I'm not gonna give you a whole history lesson here, but this is the stuff that gets me super excited. Like super excited. Hey, Mary. Yes, do that, Janet. That's a good message right there. I'm putting that up on the screen. Hey, Carol. Hey, Vicky. Good morning. Good morning. See, Tracy's Crafty Creations. She is saying that White Christmas is her favorite movie. So I was originally going to get Bing Crosby and the other actors from that movie, an image of that, and work with that. But I found this website and I found him. And this Santa, Thomas Nast, perfected the modern image of Santa Claus in 1881. And actually, I love the image because it's super vintage, but I'm not going to read it to you, but I'm going to point out what Thomas Nast was trying to do here. It was after wartime. He actually has a military backpack on. He has a sword on his hip. He has, I think this is like one of their uniform emblems. So he actually is, you wouldn't know it unless you knew what to look for by reading this, but it's really after war military version of Santa. I just think he's gorgeous. So much so that I actually, let me see if I can find it. I printed him out. This is gonna take part in what we're doing today, but I printed him out and put him in a frame because gosh, he's gorgeous, right? He's gorgeous. Anyway, that's another thing. We'll do that in a minute. I'm going to give you this website again. So if you want to look it up, if you are interested in history of Christmas in America, a christmasclassic.org is what I came across. This is what I'm basing it on. So in this same website, I found the music sheet for White Christmas. And when I printed it on regular paper, regular printer paper, this is what it came out to. Now on the screen, it was really grungy goodness. It was really yellowed and beautiful, but it did not translate to that when I printed it out. Cheryl, I love you. She says, I love it when the teacher in you comes out. I am passionate about sharing the things that I love. So thank you for hanging out. Thank you for hanging out with me. Oh, Made in the Loop. She's using hashtag note or exclamation point notify. I actually use hashtags for mine. And just since you brought it up, let me grab mine. There. If you want to get on my Telegram channel, do hashtag Telegram. And you will get a link sent to your private message on Facebook. Okay, if you want all my links, hashtag links. If you want to know about my private club, hashtag club. Got it? Got it? This is to get on my email list. So there they are. Take a snapshot. Automatic info. Just use hashtag Telegram. And thank you, Made on the Loop, for bringing that up. That made it really helpful and easy for me to remember to share that. Okay, putting that aside. Now, this was the regular printout. We'll get to this stuff in a second. Regular printout, not very snazzy. It just didn't do anything for me. I'm like, no, that's really just boring. It's regular white printer paper, and you can see the coloring is very slight. I wanted it more yellow, more grungy, right? So I took resume paper. Just like, I got this at the thrift store. Nobody uses resume paper anymore. Everything's shared electronically. This is the stuff I used in college when I was putting together my first resume. It's got that beautiful texture to it. So it's more yellow, you can see. So I printed it out on here. Better, right? I'm showing this to you because when you're playing with your printer and you're printing images out to use in your creative life, these are some of the things that I try. And I like to print out a couple and compare them. So that's what we're doing. Vicky, she says, I love history. I learned so much, not taught in school. Me too. I'm listening to 1887 right now, an audiobook, and I just finished Uncle Tom's Cabin. So good. So good. I'm with you, girl. Adorea Creations. Thanks for following. Yes, make sure to hit that follow button. I would love to have new friends hanging out with me. So here's our third version. I took some, that is a bleed of ink from my printer, but this is coffee stained paper, regular printer paper that I coffee stained ages ago. I just have like a bin of this. So when I need coffee stained paper, it's available, like many of you do. If you are a Craft Therapy Club member, there is a tutorial inside the group for how to do this. When I did it this time, the tutorial that's in the group, I baked the paper. So it gets really crunchy and thick and glorious. So I printed it on that. And I printed it a little smaller. Now that one is amazing too, because we got the really crusty edges. I love. So look at 3 different options. You tell me if you like coffee stained, resume paper, printer paper. Those are the 3 options that I came up with for using in this craft. But you see there's a major difference in the coloring and the tone of them. Oh, thanks, Denise. Thanks for doing that. She just checked to make sure she's following, and you are. Yay! Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you. You like the coffee stained one? Melissa's voting coffee stained. Carol's saying resume paper. Anybody else have a preference for which one you like most? They're all different. And depending on what kind of creative thing you're doing, you may choose one over the other, right? So I started out with the idea. I went down to my basement and I was like, okay, I need a canvas panel, right? Art canvas. And then I was like, no, I want this to be sturdier for what I'm going to use it for. I'll show you at the end. But this is too stiff and too formal. Like it's just too much. It's too much. I want it to look more organic. Like it really is a music sheet that somebody had, their grandma had in her hope chest, and you pulled it out and you're like, oh my gosh, that's precious. I want to use it in my home decor. You like the coffee stained one most. Tracy's Crafty Creations. That's what she's voting for. It's really hard for me. Donna likes the resume. Cheryl likes coffee stain. See, and there's no right or wrong. I'll point that out always. It is just what your eye likes. It's what you prefer. So I started out thinking I was going to decoupage it onto here, but I don't like that because it's too stiff. So what I did was I took watercolor paper, and I did this ahead of time because we don't have time to do everything in front of you. I took regular watercolor paper. It's 9 by 12. So any of these will fit on here because these are, of course, are 8.5 by 11, 9 by 12. And I sprayed it with some Distress Oxide. I sprayed it with water and then sprayed it with Distress Oxide. And I got this. This was my first attempt. Didn't like it. Watercolor paper is thick enough. You can flip it over, use the other side. See all that grunginess? And it's going to give this piece of paper, I need it to kind of stand up on its own, and it will if it's on this backing. So that's what I did. So that's what this is. Watercolor paper that I sprayed with water and then sprayed with Distress Oxide. It does not matter what color. Like this one's walnut stain. This one's vintage photo, just a brown spray. You could use coffee. I just didn't have any on hand. And then I took a brush and I just kind of moved it around. And then I lifted it up and I just let it sit like this for a minute. And then I lifted it and I put it this way so that the water and the spray would settle in on the edges, which it did. And then I took this doodad and I just left it there while I went and got a cup of coffee and let it dry. Now I did that about an hour ago because we don't have time for all that right now. So it's pre-done, which is lovely, right? I did have to take, because it got all curly. Curly is good for this. So you can see how it's not completely straight. Curly is really good for this project if you're going for old and decrepit, but it was super curly. So I took my little iron and I ironed it just a little bit to get it to straighten out quickly. So that's how I got to this. Okay. So we have to decide on one of these three. Now, I printed this one. I shrunk it down a little to 8 by 10 because I was going to originally put it on that canvas board. So this one is actually too small for what I need. So I think I'm going to go with the resume. This one's just out because the coloring for me on this one is too modern. It's not decrepit enough. So let's go with this one. And much like what you saw some of the other ladies do, yes, you could. You could print it on any kind of paper you want. I like the coffee stained paper the most, but that one that I printed out, hello, Cosette. I love your name. Thanks for being here. Oh, the Nanny's Crafts could pick one already. Denise. That's so funny. Oh, you guys are funny. I like the color of the coffee stained one the most, but alas, it's too small. So we're going to go with this one. You saw some of the girls wetting the edges of their paper. You can do that. They're like, this is the thing. There are so many ways to accomplish the same thing. And that's what we're hoping to inspire you with or inspire you by today. So I'm going to use my torn edge ruler. Again, I think I have two of these. And we created, this is a Dollar Tree ruler that we created the torn edge look. So I wouldn't have to spend $12 on a fancy torn edge ruler. Because girls, got to make our money go far, right? So I'm going to use this. And I can kind of control, I don't want that really big tear. I want smaller tears. So I'm going to do this maybe twice down the edge here and then move it down a little and do some more. I'm getting it to like some serious decrepitness is what I'm looking for here. I find it easier to put the smaller part under the ruler and the bigger part off the ruler. I used to do it the opposite way, and I have much better luck if you put the smaller part that you're tearing under the ruler and push really hard. And you get some really decrepit looks. I'm putting everything on the floor, just kind of like I'm at that steakhouse where you throw the peanut shells on the floor. Okay, this is going to go on here, and then we're going to cut that down further. Now, I have to decide. I would love for this to be old and decrepit. So what I grabbed was, you might have saw this on screen. I grabbed some cheese. What's it called? Cheese cloth. And I grabbed some distress ink pads. And what I'm going to do with the cheesecloth. Now, you can stain this with your water. You can, or your you can stain it with your distress inks or whatever, or coffee dye it. But if you just don't have a lot of time, it is really easy to take your cheesecloth and take any of the colors that you want to use and just come in and muck it up. That's the word I use. It's a very fancy word. Muck it up. I think I'm going to glue this down on the paper. If you've ever used cheesecloth on paper, it does like gives it some thickness, but it also gives it some decrepitness, which is just gorgeous. Because if you ever really did grab an antique from a hope chest, or you found it in the attic or something like that, usually these things have mystery things on them. Like, what is this? Why is this stuck to the side of it? I don't know. Maybe it was in, in the dining room, and someone was playing piano with the sheet music, and it happened to come across something that's stuck to it that shouldn't have been there. So you never know. These things have their own stories to tell. And so we're going to put a little cheesecloth. It's going to add some decrepitness. It's going to add some texture, just some grungy goodness. So see what you can do there. It's not much work. It's a lot faster than coffee dyeing it the old-fashioned way with actual coffee. So you can take a couple of different colors if you want it to have more depth and just run that along. And we're going to find a way to use that on this project. I wanted to show you, instead of doing that ahead of time, show you how to do that. Okay, now what I have to decide is whether to put this on before or after the music sheets. I think I'm going to put it on before and then put the music sheet on top. So the next thing to do is to get this piece down to the size I want it. Okay, so again, it's about tearing it. Oh, I'm going to go this way. Now, this is really thick paper, so this might be a little more challenging to tear. But we can do it, girls. With determination, we can do anything we want. Ooh, don't throw that out. That's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Okay. Now, see that? I like that look a lot. I'm going to tear this side next so that when I tear these, they're shorter, if that makes any sense. And I'm just kind of making a frame out of this. It's so much easier if you do it the way I told you to. We'll just put the short part underneath. Hey, there we go. Can be done either way. I want to show you something. See the white edge? That's the paper pulp from inside the paper, the thick paper coming out. You know, if you tear toward you or you tear away from you, you get a different look, a different edging. See how the white paper isn't showing on this side? It's showing on this side. So again, just little tips and tricks for you when you're creating. All right. So do you guys have a Christmas carol that you love the most? Well, speaking of carols, hello, Miss Carol. Hello, hello. Tamara loves the torn edge rulers that we made in the club. Oh my gosh, good. They are so handy, right? I use mine like all the time, all the time, all the time. All right, push down super hard. You need a lot of pressure here, especially because this paper is so thick. And it wasn't wanting to budge where it was, so I just slid it. And it doesn't matter, it's a torn edge. So we're not going, see how it's like not budging? I'm going to slide it just a little bit. See how I'm tearing it toward me so I don't see that white edge versus tearing it away. Interesting, right? Who knew? Who knew? Okay, here we go. See how it's getting all crinkly and decrepit? Just sheer goodness right there. All right, one more time. I'm going to do it right here, and I want just a bit of this peeking out. Pushing down really hard. I don't even care if it's not fully square because, again, listen, we're trying to recreate something that might have been around in the 1800s, right? Like I'm trying to create something that's been around for a long time. It is not going to be precision. It's going to be decrepit. And oh, look at that beauty. Look at that. I can't believe that little number 2, the way it tore, that stayed. So before we glue down, I think I'll just make it easy on myself and do a little bit of grunging up of these edges. See these white, that white, if you get it, you tear the wrong way and you're like, man, I got a lot of white on those edges. You just get yourself your distress inks, a little bit of wax, even a little bit of paint on a very dry brush will do this for you. So if you don't have distress ink in your stash, no need to worry. Just grab a really, like a paintbrush that has really dry, a little bit amount of paint or one of your waxes on it, and it'll do you good. This as well, I think I probably would do okay to come in and just grunge it up a little bit more. Now we picked the resume paper. It's already yellow, but let's not take that for granted. Let's just add a little more, mucking it up, a little more muck, a little more muck. So coming up after me, oh, I won't even tell you yet. We're like, let's just focus on what we got going on here. But 19 people creating together live all day long. So whether you catch us live or not, it's just an exciting day, isn't it? Lavada, thank you, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate you. Okay, glue. What kind of glue would you use? You tell me. Are you going to use decoupage glue and really get that down on there? Are you going to use a liquid glue like art glitter glue? Are you going to use Elmer's glue? Are you going to use a glue stick? Again, really, there's no right or wrong. I'll tell you this much. Well, I'm trying to put my little thing away so that it's not in our way. I'll tell you this much. Because we're pressed for time, I'm going to go with a glue stick. And I may just I got kicked out, friends, but I'm back in. Oh, sheesh. Don't be doing that to me. Technology. We're trying to share all the goodies today. I think I'm going to use a little bit of that, a little bit of this. So let's grab little bit of liquid glue just to reinforce. I'm putting the littlest bit. And I am good. If it gets all decrepit and crinkly, and to me, that's even better, right? We're looking for crinkly and distressed. Oh, no, not yet, girl. Not yet. Let's put a little bit of this first. And I'm going to cut this up randomly. Like, it's not going to go everywhere. It's just going to go here and there. I just want a bit of this. And this is thin enough that a little bit of a really good glue stick will do the trick. Oh my gosh, this is going to add something different, something special. It's going to make it more crinkly. It's going to give it some edging. Make it look super old. You know, cheesecloth is like embedded in some old antique books in the binding, because it's kind of how they kept things really held together real well. Because it adds some structure. Oh, I want that sticking out even a bit more. Like, I'm just going to pull on it. It doesn't matter. It's going to be crinkly and decrepit. You don't have to be all perfection here. Is that enough? It's goodness. It's goodness. Let's pull this one out a little bit more. I'm super visual, you guys. I don't just stick it down until I kind of get a good feel for what I'm going for. I like that it's kind of raggedy and sticking out like that. I like that it's going to be under my page, so it's going to make my page crinkly on the edges, even more decrepit goodness. Good morning, Denise. Hey, Sue. Welcome, welcome, friends. All right, see what we got going on here? Decrepit goodness. That's what I'm going to call this. A white Christmas. Oh my gosh. A white Christmas. That's so cool. See, it's just kind of peeking out. Like, what is that? What is that decrepitness right there? We're going to let it just kind of do its thing. This one got a little long. I'll just randomly clip it off. It's not a big deal. Okay. What do you think so far? Now, generally, when I am gluing paper on paper, which I do a lot of collage work, so I do this quite a lot here at the Confidence of Grace. I'm a avid junk journaler, paper crafter, and creator. I love, you know, I have a very eclectic style. Like, sometimes I love bright and modern, and sometimes I like primitive, old and decrepit. So, you know, you're going to get a little bit of everything when you hang out with me. What I was going to say, though, sometimes when I do old and decrepit, I kind of like things to not be completely adhered, because to me it feels more authentic than perfectly glued down. But I am going to check my edges, and actually I have this itty bitty piece here. Like, why waste it? I'm going to glue it down underneath on this edge as well. So we have a little extra right here. Coming down off that edge. And I think I am going to put a little, this is up a little bit high for me, so I'm going to glue that down. Otherwise, it is not on there real good. Like, it's not completely, if I had done the Mod Podge iron-on, it would be like completely solidly even and flat. And I didn't want that. I want it to look super old and grungy. I think I want to grunge up the middle a little bit more. Tell me what you're thinking of this. Do you like it? Do you like it? I think I'm going to grunge it up a little bit more with this. And I'm trying to decide. I already used that color, so maybe I'll grab this color just to change it up a little bit. And before I go in on this, I'm going to just see, what do we got going for a color here? Yeah, I like it. And so I'm going to randomly come in as though it's been aged over time and just circle in, swirl in some more decrepit. Like that. So you do you. Like, you, this is really just so, what's the word? Subjective. Like, it's just whatever you think you like the most. Do you like it super dark and dirty, or do you want it a little brighter? So I'm looking at it from screen. I see dark, 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 dark. I'm just going to come in on the edges so it doesn't all just look like it's in the middle. There. This does help to pull your face away. When I say pull your face, when we're focused, I'm really focused right here and I'm doing my color right there. every once in a while, pull your eyes and your face, your head away and look at the whole thing in its entirety and where the coloring is sitting so that you can get a good feel for what you want to add to it. Okay. So do that every few minutes. Now, all right, the next part. We got about 15-20 minutes left. Curl the edges where the material is. Oh, you totally could. You could come in with something like the edge of this and just, if you just like you curl ribbon, you know, you could come in and curl this either backwards or forward like that. I think that's what was it Kathy who suggested that? Wait, I gotta go back and see who suggested that. It's starting to look like it's from the 1880s. Oh my gosh. If you were just coming in, Jeremiah's Dreams, hello and happy birthday, friend. Welcome, welcome, Teresa. I did hang out with you. I didn't really realize it was your birthday until you were live. Hey, Lois, how are you, my Vermont friend? This is something you'd find in old New England. It's starting to look like it's from the 1880s. Thank you, Denise. That's what we're going for here. Oh, it was Kathy who said, Kathy Dean, curl the edges where the material is. Such a good idea. Such a good idea. Okay, the cheesecloth. Yay or nay on the cheesecloth? Do you like it? Don't you like it? See how much more decrepit, like look at how crinkly it is. It looks, as opposed to putting it on a standard canvas, which would have been stiff and formal, right? It would look like a piece of crafted art. This looks like something that you might have found in your attic. I think anyway. But I wonder what you think of that cheesecloth. For those of you that are just coming in, this is all inspired by, and I got this White Christmas music sheet from this website, achristmasclassic.org. It has some really interesting history of Christmas in America, and it also has some fabulous images and talks about culturally how Christmas came to be in America, which I think is so fascinating. Now, you just saw that Santa. I took one of the frames. This is a thrifted, upcycled frame that I painted with like a cranberry color, and then I put gold edging on it. We're going to take some things and we're going to create like a vignette. Do you say vignette or vignette? A vignette. You love the cheesecloth, Vicki? Look at girls. This is how it came. I think I got it at our local hardware store. Nothing, it was nothing fancy, and it's super cheap. This is how it comes. And here, it's layered. This has lasted me for years. So there's multiple layers here. See, that's one layer there, but it's really thin. So you can either stretch it out and color it and just use thin pieces of it, or you can keep it folded up and get thicker pieces of it. But a little bit goes a long way. This will last you a long, long time in your creative life. And all I did, if you were just coming on, is I took the distress ink and my little, blender, and I did it on the back of this. All I did was blend in some color to get it to look old and decrepit. This is really fun to use in your creative life. Really fun. I'm so glad you love it, Vicki. Thank you for telling me. Ruth loves it too. Yeah, yes, everybody wish Teresa a happy birthday. That Santa, isn't he fabulous? All right. Isn't he fabulous, Teresa? No, Felicia said that. No, who said that? Hold on. Who said the Santa? Debbie Gravoy, my Florida friend. How are you, darling? Okay, here he comes. Thomas Conant, I think. Let's see. I want to give him credit. No, excuse me. Thomas Nast perfected the modern image of Santa in 1881. Isn't that gorgeous? He's gorgeous. And there's a really cool history. Okay, we're going to I might have to change camera angles here. For those of you who are just coming on, Carol says, I need to get me some cheesecloth. Friend, you can get it like almost anywhere. Almost anywhere. I'm so glad you guys love it. I'm going to grab me a drink of water, and we're going to put this together in a vignette. But while I'm getting ready to do that, please tell me in the comments, or tell us, share in the comments, can you pick a favorite Christmas carol? I love modern Christmas carols. Like, I think Mariah Carey has a song, All I Want for Christmas Is You. I love that song. I love that song. It was kind of really big when I met my husband, so I love that song. It made, that year we were dating for long distance, him in North Dakota, I lived in Boston. We were dating long distance and I missed him a whole lot. So that song, I love that song. I do. But truly, in my house, I've always played Christmas classics from the 1940s and 50s. So do you have a style of Christmas music or an era of Christmas music? I would say 1940s and 50s is my favorite. Okay, here's what I got. I got us a bucket of goodies here. I'm gonna change the camera angle. Let's see. We're gonna get you down. Look what I got. I got me a bucket of Christmas goodies. I went down to my basement, girls. This is how we're gonna be decorating. And this is very common for me. I do not like to spend a lot of money on Christmas supplies. I just think if we can like save the pennies for the Christmas presents that we need to buy, because Christmas can be a very expensive holiday. You may have some stuck away in one of your kitchen drawers, right? Right. All right. Let's look at what's in here. We have, I grabbed, these are just some old used up candles that I bought used. I bought them used because they were old and decrepit and I loved them. And I'm going to do something very special with that. I grabbed, actually, this was from my craft stash in my craft room, this little tag. I don't know. I'm going to unload everything and then we're going to figure out, grabbed this off of my mantle in my bedroom. Grabbed this. I've had this thing for years. I bought it like, I don't know, 20 years ago for $2.99 at a local craft store or gift store. And I absolutely love it. Oh, I had these deer from Chalk Couture that I had made. Those could be really cute in a vignette. So when you're creating vignettes, like little collections of Christmas things, you just kind of need a variety. I'll show you that in a second. I grabbed a bunch of these. These might even be from the Dollar Tree, girls. Like, they're just berries and greenery, but they make great fillers. Grabbed this bunch of pine cones that I had them on hand, but I think I got them at the thrift store, after a Christmas one time. I got another little sprig. This is looks like it's from Walmart, $1.48. I think this was last year. After Christmas, I went and bought a bunch of the leftover stuff that nobody had bought. I got some red ribbon. I collected a bunch of stuff. This I know I got this at a thrift store a few years ago. It's just cute. Burlap sack tree. And I'm going to put this basket aside. I grabbed this. This I bought. I actually won this one in an auction. I'm going to hold it up because it's kind of big. But I won this at a local school auction that one of the local quilt ladies made. And it has this rusty star on it. And I just loved it. Isn't that cute? It's really big, but it's got that same vibe, that primitive old vibe. I grabbed a couple of doilies because you can never use enough doilies. I've got my white Christmas. We are going to try to put this together in a vignette. I grew up with Christmas classics. Yes, Valerie, you're welcome. You are absolutely welcome. You love it, Ruth. You love the quilted? Isn't it beautiful? I mean, I won it in an auction, so I bid on it until I was the highest bidder. I just loved his little face. I love the stitching on his face. I loved the colors. I like that it's tall and skinny. It has like a leather strap with. So over the years, I've just been collecting things for as inexpensive as I can when I grab it. And then we're going to put it together in a box. So I'm going to grab the box. I'm going to push you guys back. Not you, but the camera, so you can see a little more. Maybe what I should do is make this camera bigger and get you down. Here's the other cameras right here. I'm gonna get you down. I'm trying to get the best angle for you. I got all this stuff sitting here. All right, go get you a crusty box, a metal bucket, whatever you can find, either in the basement or not. I bought this years ago, this big old box. A woman who had I bought it from an antique store, Gertie's. Gertie's in Grand Forks. In 2015, I bought this box and it gets reused and reused, but we are going to put our music sheet in here. So I grabbed a couple of I love, girls. I am a lover of old vintage books. I'm going to push you back a little further so you can kind of see my head. There I am. I love old vintage books. So you want to grab a red and a green. And we're going to stuff them in here and we're going to make a vignette with all of these things. You love the quilted snowman. Isn't he cute? So I want these to kind of stand up. We're going to put all this stuff together in here. This is going to be the star of the show as far as I'm concerned. So this is going to go in here. if I prop it right behind the books, I can get it to stay up for now until I figure everything out, right? Because we're gonna stuff this in. I would love for this to be in here. It's just like the perfect size. It fits right in there. I'm gonna push this camera aside. Oh, let's go this way. This fits right in there, and it's up to you to decide. I'm trying to do this backwards, which is kind of crazy, but that's what I'm trying to do. I have my doily. A doily is always good. It just adds a little softness, and it's kind of that era. So I'm going to hang that over the edge here. I think I'm going to open these. These aren't opened yet, but I'm going to open them and throw a couple of pine cones in here. So it's about having on hand. So when you see pine cones, it may not be the season for pine cones. Maybe it's Easter and you're like, oh, they're selling pine cones. We use those in the fall. I don't need pine cones right now. But if they're a buck, grab them, friend, because you're going to be able to, I love my thrifting. You're going to be able to use them in your vignettes to create just this beautiful Christmas themed goodness. All right, let's put, I want to get him. I got to get him in there somewhere. I mean, he does have a little kickstand, so I should be able to prop him here on the other side. Oh my. All right, tell me what you're thinking of how this is coming together. And if you have suggestions, let me know. This is all based on this music sheet here, showing you how you might be able to use some of your Christmas music in your decor. Are you loving it? Cheryl, are you loving it, girl? Okay. What else can we put in here? I grabbed this little tag, which I thought was really cute. I don't know where I might put it, so let's just hold on to that. I'm going to get another pine cone here. These are really big, these pine cones. And even though Santa is kind of taking up the space right here, he's standing up on his own really well. I'm going to throw a couple of pine cones behind him. It's going to prop him up a little better. They're just kind of peeking out right here. You can see that? You could always glitter your pine cones if you want to. Just put Mod Podge on the edges with a paintbrush and then throw some glitter down. I've got this little thing that I can, oh, tag's still on it, but you're going to get the drift. The tag is still on it. We're not going to take the time to take it off. So I have enough time to show you this all together. This thing, I really want to show you this. So what I thought to do, I've been collecting cameos because I absolutely love them. I love old colonial Christmas. I love old historical America. I mean, I grew up in Boston, so I grew up walking the Freedom Trail. I didn't even think about it a whole lot when I was a kid, but the Freedom Trail and Paul Revere's Ride and the Old North Church, that's where I grew up, all of colonial history. So I think because of where I grew up, I have this huge affection for American history. And Christmas time, there's so much beauty. I'm tying, I don't know if you can see it, but when I'm done with this, I'm tying that cameo onto this candle stack. Old decrepit candles, don't throw them out. You know, sometimes they get bent and warped if they're stored away. Like, look at that on there. How gorgeous is that? Let's stick these over here next to Santa, my little cameo girl. I just kicked out my pine cone was just much too big to put behind that, so I'm going to get a smaller one out of my stack. Smaller pine cone right behind my candle stack, propped up there. Oh my gosh, are you loving the way this is coming together? How about some rusty bells? How about some rusty bells? We're going to prop them up. I've got some rusty stars. So you can take all the little things you've been collecting and put them together. Girls, what do we think? What do we think? I got my old Santa that I printed out from that website. And we've got our music sheet back here, which is kind of getting obscured, isn't it? Let's put it, I'm going to steal it away and put it kind of behind the books a little more so that it's standing up right there. I hope you love it. I would love to know what you think, Cheryl. She says, gorgeous. Booksy and button designs. Thank you. Thank you. Debbie, you're heading to Boston again. Just caught you. Oh, yay. Debbie, those cameos that I've been picking up, I sold two on my Whatnot show the other day. So they'll be coming. I have a collection and they'll be coming up in my Whatnot shows. If you're not over there on Whatnot, bookmarking my shows, you might want to. I have one coming up this week, but look at that goodness. I got to get those candles to prop. I might stick just, what I would do probably is stick a little tissue paper down underneath the base of the candles to get those to prop up better so that the cameo can be shown in all its goodness, that little bell. So you have to play a little, right? Like you have to do a little play with your stuff. I might boost up on the stack of candles, boost up that burlap tie so that the cameo is more showcased there. I got to prop up those candles a little better. We got a little tree, we got our music sheet, little Christmas vignette for you. I'm so glad you guys like it. I'm so glad you like it. Thank you for being here with me, you guys. I know that light is just, there we go. Let's do that. Then it's not so bad. Okay, coming up next, let me look at my list. Let me look at my, oh, I don't have to look. I remember. It's Cheryl from Mama P's Crafting. But go into the free groups and join the free groups so that you can follow along with us creating with Christmas carols all day long and trying to inspire you. If you're here for the first time, thank you for being our guest. I would love to have you follow me here at the Compass of Grace. You use a poster tag so they stand up. Marsha, great idea. Thank you for sharing that. You guys go have a beautiful, blessed day. Happy birthday, Teresa. Bye.